the whole Bible is an incredible. I joke very much so. They always hold up The Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. But I just think the Bible is just something very special.
I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Is there a favorite Bible verse or Bible story that has informed your thinking or your character through life, sir?
Well, I think many. I mean, you know, when we get into the Bible, I think many, so many.
An Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal.
You might think that an aide would slip him a sheet of paper with something like, I don't know, John 3:16 on it, so Trump could at least pretend to know something about the Bible. But no. And that reality is part of what makes Trump's latest grift so amazing.
On the roughly $500 million penalty that the former president owes New York State after last month's judgment against him in his civil fraud trial. That could mean seizure of some of Trump's most prized properties if the former president is not able to put up either the money or a financial guarantee while he continues to appeal that case.
Media. Why should a crooked, highly political New York judge working in concert and coordination with an even more corrupt attorney general, his puppet master, and the White House be allowed to take away and sell off?
It looked like that's where things were headed after his lawyers submitted a court filing this week saying that their client could not find an insurance company to underwrite a bond for the massive penalty. But early yesterday morning, the former president appeared to undercut his lawyers, claiming in a post on Truth Social that, quote, through hard work, talent, and luck, I currently have almost $500 million in cash.
These radical left lunatics and communists asked me to pay a ridiculous and completely unheard of fine of over $450 million only because they saw a similar amount in my bank account.
I want to talk about Trump and TikTok.
Then, just hours after that post, shareholders of a company called Digital World Acquisition Corp. voted to merge with the Trump Media and Technology Group, which owns the social media platform Truth Social. The newly emerged company will result in a massive financial windfall of over $3 billion for the former president.
I had intended to use much of that hard-earned money on running for president. They don't want me to do that. Election interference! Now, that's a lot of words, so we translated it from Trump to English, and here's what it means. I don't have the money.
Would you ever accept money from a foreign government to pay the bond or fines or...
No, I don't do that. I think you'd be allowed to, possibly. I don't know.
Trump won't be able to take out any of that money in time to pay the penalty that he owes in New York, but it offers him a lifeline at a vulnerable time, and I'll explain how in a minute. That merger between Trump Social's parent company and Digital World Acquisitions was 2.5 years in the making. But there's a story to be told that provides some important context to Trump's current situation. And it involves TikTok, a conservative PAC, and a really rich man named Jeffrey YASS. YASS is the Pennsylvania billionaire owner of the financial firm Susquehanna International Group. He's a conservative mega-donor and a major investor who has a $33 billion stake in ByteDance, the Chinese parent company that owns TikTok. Keep that in mind.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, you could, I don't know. But Russia, if you're listening, maybe you know if it's legal. Could you write the answer down on 500 million pieces of paper and have it put in my account?
His entire campaign, hell, his whole personality has been, except for, eating burgers and fucking porn stars, his entire personality has been, I'm a billionaire and I'm going to stop China. Turns out that none of that's true. It turns out Donald Trump works for China.
Here's the good news. I'm very rich. I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I don't need anybody's money. I'm using my own money. I'm not using the lobbyists. I'm not using donors. I don't care. I don't want their money. I don't need their money. I'm turning down millions of dollars for the campaign. Millions. Everybody's offering me money, and I don't want it. So I'm turning down millions of dollars.
Reuters identified YASS as the top donor of this election season, having donated, quote, more than $46 million to Republican causes so far in the 2024 election cycle. Data from political donations tracker Open Secrets shows.
The general rule, if you're the kind of guy who knowingly breaks laws and commits fraud, you probably shouldn't go around bragging that you'll never need anyone's money. It's like an Alaska Airlines flight attendant saying, in case of an emergency, although who are we kidding? Nothing bad's gonna happen. This is a Boeing plane.
Because that's what this is. This has not gone well. And the Republicans know it. TikTok Donald.
It is my great honor to be at Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach tonight, awards night, to receive the Club Championship Trophy and the Senior Club Championship Trophy. I won both.
YASS is also a major donor to the conservative nonprofit group Club for Growth. In 2023 alone, YASS gave $16 million to the Political Action Committee affiliated with the Club for Growth. And as NBC News points out, quote, the organization and its related groups have also worked hard to mobilize opposition to a TikTok ban on Capitol Hill. It was through Club for Growth that Trump and YASS recently got acquainted. And this is where things began to catch the critics' attention.
We also have a big and omelet stationing restaurant and a small and secret documenting bathroom. I won both.
Trump had a falling out with Club for Growth during the 2022 midterms. The two camps split on whom to support in some key races. But earlier this year, they mended fences with a little help from YASS, who was one of the people who reached out to the former president about attending Club for Growth's retreat this year. So on March 1st, Donald Trump accepted the invitation and attended the group's retreat in Palm Beach. He even gave a speech at the gathering, during which he gave YASS a shout-out, calling the billionaire, quote, fantastic. Then, 6 days later, on March 7th, Trump suddenly announced that he'd changed his mind about TikTok and came out against banning it, just as bipartisan efforts to force ByteDance to divest from TikTok were gaining steam in the House of Representatives.
I am very humbly asking if you could chip in $5, $10, or even $25. If you could chip in, if you've done well, if you've remembered those great 4 years that we had where you made a lot, we need your help.
A demolition crew in South Carolina recently discovered a time capsule while tearing down a mall. Here's what it looks like.
You need to help this man, Donald J. Trump. They're trying to drain him dry, give the president some money to fight this bull. Stand up and help the man. Pray for our country. Pray for him. Go to DonaldJTrump.com and give money so he can defend themselves. America literally is at stake as we know it, is at stake as we know it. I'm sorry I'm so upset, but please help President Trump. If you can afford $5 or $10, if you can't afford $1, fine, just pray. Pray for this country, pray for this president, and if you got any money to give, give it.
This is the worst ASPCA commercial I've ever seen. In the arms of an angel. What's that, Mima? What? Well, maybe I could carry a tune better if I wasn't carrying your pills around all day.
This was a significant reversal, especially considering that in 2020, while he was still president, Donald Trump signed an executive order that stated, quote, the United States must take aggressive action against the owners of TikTok to protect our national security, end quote. Trump's flip-flop on TikTok was baffling, even among his allies and supporters. Steve Bannon, who served in the Trump administration, suggested that Trump changed his stance for, quote, the YASS coin, an apparent insinuation that Jeff YASS had some influence over the GOP nominee.
Yeah, I said it, Meemaw. Also, I don't think the pills work when you wash them down with mint juleps. You old hag.
Well, I think it'd be more accurate, really, to say that Donald Trump works for anybody who will pay him enough money. Since 2015, Donald Trump has railed against the evils of TikTok. Hell, it was the only thing that he and I agreed on.
I know they stopped laughing at the bit. I'm here too. I got ears just like you, Meemaw.
Mr. President, you met recently with Jeff YASS, who's a hedge fund manager, has a stake in TikTok. He's a huge GOP donor. Steve Bannon has suggested that you've been paid off to switch your view. How did your view change? How did that come about? And did you have a conversation with Jeff YASS about it?
No, I didn't. I met with him very briefly. I made a speech, and I said hello to him and his wife, who's lovely. It was a meeting that lasted for a few minutes. No, the only one I met was I met them both, and they're, I don't think I ever met him before, but he never mentioned TikTok.
But he had a meeting with a guy that owns 7% of TikTok. And guess what that guy did? Total coincidence, I'm sure.
Bring us back to yesterday's merger between Digital World Acquisitions and the Trump Media and Technology Group. This is a huge development as the embattled ex-president continues to face a litany of ongoing legal and political issues. But Trump's recent association with YASS is important to note because, as the Philadelphia Inquirer reports, quote, Jeffrey YASS's firm was the largest institutional shareholder as of December in the company that has merged with Truth Social.
He bought up a bunch of the Trump meme stock and filtered millions and millions of dollars into Trump's pocket. I'm sure that's neither here nor there. By happenstance, it was the same week that the House passed the TikTok ban. Hell, it was the only thing the Republicans and Democrats have agreed on in forever. What do you think Trump did?
The whole Bible is an incredible. I joke very much so. They always hold up The Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. But I just think the Bible is just something very special.
As of yet, none of his billionaire friends are ponying up money, from what I understand. I've been asking them.
What is behind their reluctance?
Well, it's as of now, so
right.
let's see.
I
mean,
are they afraid that they
change.
might not see it anytime soon? The money, if he even succeeds on appeal, what's
yeah, I mean that's one thing. Just generally, Donald doesn't have a great record at paying back banks over the years.
What's their reason? They're afraid they're never going to see the money again.
I have no idea what their exact reason. You want me to postulate here?
Sure.
Yeah, I just think that they don't think they're going to get their money back.
Yeah, no. You'd have a better chance getting your money back from a shredder. Imagine going in for a loan. And just one last question. Are you the kind of person who pays people back? Generally, no.
I'm sure, because he feels it in his core that suddenly TikTok is fine. Trump's against the TikTok ban. Donald Trump, the one that's going to hold China to the fire, is now pro-TikTok. Man, I wonder how much that guy paid him. I mean, it's not like Donald Trump had integrity. It's not like I'm astonished that the motherfucker's for sale. But all you Republicans who claimed that at least Donald Trump was against China, what are you gonna do now? Everything else he ever said to you turned out to be a lie. But hell, even I knew that he was solid on the fucking TikTok.
All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many. It's my favorite book. We must protect content that is pro-God. We love God, and we have to protect anything that is pro-God. We have to bring Christianity back into our lives and back into what will be again a great nation. I'm proud to endorse and encourage you to get this Bible. We must make America pray again. I think you all should get a copy of God Bless the USA Bible now and help spread our Christian values with others.
God Bless the USA Bible is made in China. All rights reserved.
Donald Trump needs cash, and he needs it ASAP. The guy's been hawking Bibles on TV like he's trying to raise money to go to Jesus camp.
Now, Donald Trump hawking Bibles while actually never having opened one himself is ironic. But it is also not out of character. I mean, this is the man who's selling basketball shoes right now, and I'm not even sure his three-pointer exists. The reason Trump is Bible peddling and the reason it is interesting isn't because of the hypocrisy.
Now, I was wondering, if he can't get to the Supreme Court, will you loan him the $460 million?
You know,
just to help, in order to protect America's name. Think of it that way.
To get the bond, he was able to get the $90+ million from Chubb.
Yeah.
I don't know of a bond more than $90 million. I don't recall one.
Yeah,
and so you need cash to back up the bond insurance. And so now we're talking about the terminology of seizing assets. That's foreign language to an American investor.
Maybe that's Trump's next move. He could bring Lindsey Graham as his sidekick. And now allow me to introduce my business partner, Lindsey. Lindsey, would you like to say a few words to the Sharks?
If you got any money to give, give it.
The callback worked, Meemaw!
The reason Trump and his Bible sales are interesting is because of the fine print here. This is the frequently asked questions page for this new Trump Bible. If you were wondering, this is the only Bible endorsed by Donald Trump, which may be alarming news. I don't know. But the thing that actually matters here is the very last question on this list. Is any of the money from this Bible going to the Donald J. Trump campaign for president? The answer is no. Despite the fact that Trump's ad for this Bible really feels like a political ad to make America pray again, etc. Despite that, money from the sale of these Bibles does not go to any political cause. It goes to a politician. It goes to Donald Trump. According to the New York Times, Trump gets royalties from Bible purchases, which is part of a licensing deal through a shell company. So the money is split between this Bible company and Donald Trump. At the end of the day, this is really just Trump getting his supporters to enrich him personally.
Trump's been reduced to begging donors and friends for money because no financial institution will give him money.
Every single person, when I came to them saying, hey, can I get a $500 million bond? Maria, they were laughing. They were laughing.
Yeah. Were they laughing at the amount, or were they laughing at you? Did they get up, walk to the door, open it, and shout to the rest of the office, hey, everyone, get in, you gotta see this. And then did they take out their phone, press record, and say, all right, now say it again. I wanna send this to America's Funniest Home Videos.
Tick-tock. Tick-tock. You know, financially speaking, things must not be going very well over there at the Trump National Convention. Speaking of the Trump National Convention, and this is neither here nor there, but Donald Trump's bringing back Paul Manafort. Paul Manafort, you remember him, the guy that worked for Russia and set up a bunch of crooked governments in Ukraine and then ran the Trump campaign for absolutely free, I'm sure. Totally by coincidence, turned out that Russia had funneled him $68 million into his various illegal money funneling accounts here in America, and he went to prison for that shit until Donald Trump gave him a pardon. We're bringing him back, baby, because the Republican National Convention is going to be ran by Paul frickin' Manafort. Getting the gang back together.
Reason I point this out isn't because I care particularly about Donald Trump making money off a bunch of Bibles. It's because this little shell game here is very much part of a pattern, and we are seeing it repeat itself in a big way that could impact the 2024 election. You probably remember that back in 2020, after losing the race, Trump launched what he called his official election defense fund. Between Election Day and January 6th, the Trump campaign sent millions of fundraising emails to supporters, sometimes as many as 25 emails a day. The fundraising pitch was that the Democrats want to steal the election and that this fund needed your money to fight back. Trump managed to raise $250 million with that sales pitch, but there was just one small problem with Trump's official election defense fund. It didn't exist.
I don't believe there is actually a fund called the Election Defense Fund.
Every single penny will go to the number one and the only job of the RNC. That is electing Donald J. Trump as president of the United States.
Trump's going to go office to office, shaking the change out of everyone's pockets. He'll have his heavy Lindsey Graham with him to intimidate people.
Every time it seems like consequences of any kind are closing in, he gets away with it. Who let this guy wish for more wishes? Especially after how racist he was to the genie.
I'm gonna break your knuckles if you don't pony up, so if you got any money to give,
give it.
Nostalgia tours. I love them. You know, just a couple years ago, I saw Bob Seger, and it was his last tour, but the motherfucker still had it. It was outstanding. I mean, the album version of everything, and played by gentlemen who knew how to play those songs, let me tell you. But you know, he was about Trump's age. I think he was 76 on that tour. Man, he tore up that stage. It was awesome. He still had game. Donald Trump doesn't have game.
The appeals court paused restrictions on Trump running any New York company or obtaining a loan from a New York bank, as well as the restrictions on his adult sons, which means now Don Jr. and Eric can still open their hot dog and cocaine carts.
He never really had game, but he always said things that other candidates didn't say. Well, you know, he speaks differently, Zach.
The pundits are saying the court handed Trump a lifeline. Well, that makes sense. By law, you have to throw someone a lifeline when they look that much like a waterlogged corpse.
You know, he's a different kind of candidate, and that's why we like him. He says things that other candidates won't say. How'd that go for y'all?
I'm really rich.
There you go. There you go. That checks out.
Now, Trump really did raise $250 million, but only a small fraction actually went towards anything resembling fighting back or challenging the 2020 election. If you read the fine print while donating to Trump's official election defense fund, you would learn that before a single penny is given to Trump's efforts to fight the election results, the first $5,000 donated by any donor is split between the RNC and Trump's Save America PAC. In other words, if you sent in $200, none of that would go towards the Trump Defense Fund. Now, today, the New York Times is out with a very useful piece showing where all that money did go. And it turns out that all of that $254 million windfall Trump got from claiming the election was stolen, it turns out Trump funneled that money through a series of different accounts like his Save America PAC. The money was part of a little shell game that ultimately paid Donald Trump's personal legal expenses.
And last week, his lawyers claimed that for their super rich client, securing the bond would be a practical impossibility.
Donald Trump can't afford his tax evasion judgments and fraud that he perpetrated for 10 years. And they only went back 10 years because that's the statute of limitations.
He's not a real rich guy. He just plays one on TV. Donald Trump has $1 billion the same way Patrick Stewart has a spaceship.
I'm sure he never committed fraud or tax evasion before that. Just recently, easily proven fraud and tax evasion. But that's not what this video is about. Got off on a tangent there.
Hello, Geico Gecko? Would you give me half $1 billion? No? That is outrageous. I demand to speak to your caveman. No, I've already tried all the banks. Tyra, Azalea, Special Agent Cody.
To fill the $90,000 a day hole in his pocket from the legal bills he has been incurring in his various civil and criminal cases.
Tick-tock, Donald. Tick-tock. 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 Where is the Donald? He can't afford to have his damn rallies. They're too damn expensive. He can't afford to pay his bills. They're too damn expensive. He can't afford to pay his fucking fines. They're too damn expensive. They fired everybody at the RNC because they're too damn expensive.
The other big showstopper in this piece today is that big pot of money It is nearly gone. And now with those coffers nearly run dry, Trump is looking for another cash cow. Next month, Trump is set to hold a big-ticket fundraising dinner with the RNC in Palm Beach, Florida. And the fine print on the invites to that dinner, well, that fine print is telling. This is the first major fundraiser since Trump got his daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, installed as the co-chair of the RNC. And Laura Trump has since very publicly made clear that the RNC will not be paying any of Trump's personal legal bills. But again, look at the fine print. At this fundraiser next month, the invitation shows that the first $6,600 donated go straight to Trump's campaign. And the next $5,000 donated after that go to Trump's Save America PAC, the entity that has been paying his legal bills. So in order to actually get money to the RNC at this RNC fundraiser, you first have to clear $11,600 in Trump's own piggy banks.
Trump said he has $500 million in cash, undercutting his lawyer's claims. That's like if O.J. tried to put on the glove and said, "This doesn't fit, but I do love stabbing. Stab, stab, stabbity, stab."
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Do Republicans think that it's going to get better? Or do Republicans think it's going to get worse? Wrong. I suspect the TikTok will tell the tale.
You can't have an election in the middle of a political season.
And I promise you, when I'm back in the White House, there will be no car sales allowed during Toyotathon. It's too sacred.
Because now, Donald Trump once again sold his soul to China. Are you really going to support him again?
Would you be concerned that a conviction, if you are convicted in that trial, could cost you the election, given what Todd said voters are...
Well, it could also make me more popular.
The guiltier he is, the more the crowd loves him. It's never a great sign when your press conference answers could just as easily be cackled by the Joker.
Are you going to give him another $1? Now that you know that Donald Trump absolutely supports the People's Republic of China having your 14-year-old daughter absolutely locked into her phone. You know, like an American. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. Tell you what, TikTok. Time. It's been said, is something that goes along with us on the journey. For Donald Trump, it's a dagger hanging right up there. Y'all take it easy, because he won't.
It is a shell game. Christy, how is this legal? How can he keep saying this one thing and doing another?
Well, I think the big question here will be looking behind all of this as to who's coordinating it. If Donald Trump is coordinating between his campaign and these PACs that are supposed to be third parties and independent, the Save America PAC is an independent, even though he directs it, independent third party, if there's sufficient coordination and you could prove that, then maybe you would have something to say. These expenditures are not purely personal. These are really campaign contributions. And therefore, they should be subject to the limits of $5,000 that campaign contributions are subject to. So, again, it seems to me, like you said, they're just trying to do an end run around these various regulations, and it seems so transparent. The question is, will anybody look into this? Will the FEC look into this? Will any prosecutors look into this? It's unclear.